test and the microphone. Okay, hello everyone.
Hello,
all the beautiful people watching us tonight at 6 o'clock on a Wednesday. First of all, welcome everyone, and we do a quick mic check before we start. So please let us know during the process if the game sound is loud enough for you, as well as our sounds. So. What do we have today? Today we are having a preview stream of Surselva Line, a brand new Swiss route coming to Train Simulator 20. It's coming tomorrow, and today we have a special guest. We have Laura McConaughey, if I pronounce your last name correctly.
You did, yeah, well done.
Thank you. She is a route building manager, if I'm not mistaken, at Rivet Games. Is that the right title that you have?
Yeah, just sort of head up the level design sort of side of things, the route building, yeah.
Yes. So she's in Scotland. Oh, actually, Matt haven't even said a word yet. Matt.
No, I haven't. I'm just letting you.
Say something, Matt.
Hello, everybody. Can everybody hear Laura okay? I've noticed on the volume bar, Dimitri and I are blasting the volume, whereas Laura sounds a little quiet, so I might need to adjust some volumes in a minute. But just let us know if anything's wrong, and we'll fix it.
Yeah, so let's switch straight to the game. It's gonna be a 1 hour, maybe 1 hour 10 minutes long stream tonight, and just need to make sure that the game is actually displayed on your screens. Give it a second, and it will. It will, yeah.
Yeah, you need to bring the game back to focus.
Okay.
Hopefully that'll
really?
bring it
Okay.
in.
Anyway, yes.
Maybe not. Oh, don't you just love it when a plan comes together?
Right, let's do something like
Volume mixer.
Yeah. Come on, game, please. Why is it not showing?
You got overlay TS enabled. What's that one? Oh,
it's
that's that.
This
Okay.
small thing, yeah. Sorry, guys. We're just trying to figure out why is the game not showing.
Because that would be too easy.
Right, let's restart the game and see if that helps. Oh, the game's frozen.
The game's frozen. Ah.
It's a great start, isn't it? Oh.
Okay, the game woke up.
No stress. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, sorry guys. Anyway, so Surselva Line. So a brand new Swiss route. Quick facts: 50 kilometers from Reichenau Tamins to Disentis Muster. I hope that was anywhere close to real pronunciation. Yeah, so 50 kilometers, a very scenic route, something we've all obviously seen scenic routes before, but this one, it really strikes as something quite new, especially the beautiful rocks that are featured there.
I'm looking forward to seeing this. These routes are always really pretty.
Yeah, so launching today at 2 p.m. UK time. It requires an RHB enhancement pack 2 from Alan Thompson to run, so it runs the rolling stock that's featured in the enhancement pack. It will be offered at £18.74 if you already own the enhancement pack, or it will be offered for £27.73 with it including a 25% discount if you buy a bundle of the route plus the enhancement pack. So these are the quick facts. We're gonna go straight into the very first scenario, which is a Rhine Gorge tour. It's about half an hour, so very relaxing and great ride, and we have a bunch of questions for Laura about the route, about Rivet Games, and just to see how much they've actually changed, what went into development, and generally what's cool about the route. So I suppose we'll just jump straight into action. I'll be playing as usual, and Matt will be asking questions.
Jibber jabbering.
Right, so Laura, I guess the first question is, can you tell us a bit about yourself? And we kind of talked about your title, but what is it that you do in your normal work day?
Yeah, so I'm Laura. I sort of head up level design here at Rivet Games, as we chatted about before. Sort of what I'll be involved in is sort of the project planning at the beginning, getting the route mapped out, getting an asset list together for the 3D artists to work on. So I keep track of that while they're working, so that the team of route builders can start sort of running up the route behind them
Mm-hmm.
as they get the assets in. So they'll run up the route and do the sort of infrastructure, platforms, things that interact with the track first,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll do the sort of iconic buildings in a second pass, and that gives us a chance as route builders to sort of start working up behind where they are.
Yeah. See, thank you. So it appeared for me for a second that the game was a little bit too loud, but I'll bring it down a little bit for us. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about the map, really, if there's a lot to tell? I mean, we can see it's a pretty long route actually. It's not as long as Godabad, for example, which was your previous route, the first route you made, which was if I'm not mistaken, was 100 kilometers. So
Yeah,
this one's half of it.
yeah, it's about 70 kilometers, I think. This
Oh,
one.
70. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. It's as you can see, it's a very Swiss, twisty, windy track. The gradients are quite steep, and yeah, it's very similar to Gotthard in a lot of ways, but probably has its own unique sort of challenges as well. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah, let me just prepare everything. Need to put the headlights on. Yeah, so as many of you have already probably know, guys, this is the locomotive that's been in the previous enhancement pack, which it has this wheel which has two modes of driving. I think Matt would be able to tell in a more normal language what each of these things called. I'm only gonna say that I do prefer using the normal usual mode when I'm driving downhill, as going uphill with the cruise control is a bit tricky. So I do prefer just using normal driving mode. Right, so let's get out of the local for a
I do
for a
like the
second
Swiss
as
rolling
well.
stock. It's really interesting. It's different to look at.
So this is
Look at
one
that.
end.
I'm loving the detail with all the houses going off into the distance there, intermixed with the trees.
yeah.
It's very iconic for the area.
Yeah, it really well represents the area. Yeah, it's quite something to look at. I feel like the Swiss Railway, not even just rail fans, people from all over the world, flock to Switzerland just for the railways, to go on the railway tours and things. So
Well, the railway tours are probably a unique opportunity to take in some really different views. Because the area is famous for the sort of the really beautiful views you can get, the vistas you can find, and the railways can get you to places cars can't.
absolutely, yeah.
And you wouldn't want to necessarily walk to. So it's not just all about the railways. It's about using the railways to enjoy the sights.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, so we just started moving. As I said, it's going to be quite a relaxing drive. I don't want to do too much of anything related to signaling this time. Actually, to focus on you, Laura. From your Twitter, I've seen some photos while I was looking for Rivet Games Twitter, and I've noticed that there are some ladies in your office besides you, but you're the first lady to actually appear on this stream ever in this company, I think. So congratulations! It's the first time. We're extremely excited about this because it's been all the same thing all the time. And very, very happy to
He's
have
bored
you
of me, is what he's saying.
that as well. But
He's saying, "Why do you keep coming in here?"
Yeah, there are many factors contributing to this. So how did they convince you to take part, really? I mean, because when we were initially discussing this whole thing, the whole stream thing, they were suggesting to bring Alan, I think, himself, but he would be to be on a holiday. So they've somehow convinced you, I suppose, to
Yeah,
come over here.
yeah. Some good old-fashioned bribery.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm kidding.
Bribery's an option. Right. Okay.
I wish
So I'm
it was.
raising my price.
Not for you, man. Not
No,
for you,
damn
man. You-
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's good exposure for our company. We're relatively young, so any sort of exposure we can get is good for us. And also, it's a really good chance for us to show off this route we've been working on for the past few months. So that's another really good opportunity for us. So,
Yeah, great. And you were in the dev blog that came out yesterday, weren't you? In the new dev blog by Rivet Games. It's about 17 minutes long, and it's you who's actually featured in there.
yeah, that's me.
So if you want to see Laura in real, how she looks in real life, go and watch the dev blog. But they also need views on that dev blog, so make sure and go and check it out. Yeah, I guess this next question would be how much of a rail fan you are personally, because you're the first lady to be here, so people would really like to know what trains do you like.
I wouldn't consider myself a train spotter or anything, but I do enjoy a good model railway. So there's like a model railway on at the Glasgow Exhibition Centre every year, and I try and get along to that with my grandpa as much as I can, because he's a massive fan of all things trains, planes, and automobiles. So that's always a good fun thing to go along to.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Model Rail Scotland is an excellent show. I've done that. I've been there a few times myself.
Yeah, it's always really, really good. It's just amazing the amount of effort that people put into these shows. It's incredible.
Actually, curious. Can we expect to see anyone from Rivet on the Wally festival? I suppose.
I'm not sure actually. I'd maybe need to check with Colin about that, but.
Yeah, I think Colin might be going. So while on this first scenario, you'll have these tooltips pop up occasionally, describing your different locations along the route. And so the first one is Surselva. Above the forest is the name of the valley. So Surselva is the name of the valley of the Ontario Rhine in the local Surselvan dialect of Romansh. We're gonna have a couple of these along the whole route.
Yeah, for those that didn't just catch on to that, Dovetail will be at the Worley exhibition, at the National Exhibition Centre in Birmingham. So do come along, say hello.
Yeah, please do. We're going. It's going to be next month, 2 days as usual, but that's not a topic of today's conversation anyway. The next question I had on my list was, how did you get into the industry and train simulation development specifically?
So I guess I originally went to art school and studied fine art, which is very, very different to what I'm doing now. But I'd worked for a few years and sort of decided I wanted to go back and study something a bit more vocational for the skills that I had. So I did a postgrad in 3D design for virtual environments. Which kind of piqued my interest in games design, I guess. I've always been interested in games, but I think that kind of got me to a point where I think I kind of wanted to work in that industry. And then I landed my first job with Dovetail Games, actually. So I worked with Matt and yourselves at Dovetail Games for a good few years on Train Simulator and in Train Sim World. And now I'm here at Rivet Games. So yeah, that's kind of...
That's great. Which uni did you go to, if you don't mind me asking?
My undergraduate degree was Glasgow School of Art, and my postgrad was at Glasgow Caledonian University.
Right, so you're 100% Glaswegian, or I think that's the word that they use, yeah?
I am indeed, yes, Ouija through and through.
yeah. I know, because I lived in Scotland for 7 years, so
really?
Scotland is quite close to me, yeah, in some ways.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I went through Scotland to go up to the Shetland Islands because we lived there for 3.5 years. But.
Oh wow! I've never been to the Shetland Islands, but I would love to go. It looks absolutely beautiful.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. I think that's a great introduction of yourself, and we're very happy to know that you've been involved with this for a long time. So you are definitely someone with lots of experience, and great to have you here.
If you guys are playing stuff on TS or TS World, chances are you're using some of Laura's work.
Yep.
And indeed many of Laura's team.
Indeed, yeah, many of us.
Yeah. Let's focus on the route now. I think Matt, you will take over from here.
I am loving these rocks.
Yes.
Yeah, the limestone rocks. They're
it's my favourite part. Absolutely.
Yeah, really unique. I don't think we've really had anything like this.
Nope.
In Train Sim before, so yeah.
First time I drove here, I was What? I just had my... was very surprised at how beautiful it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, as I said, I'm gonna try and focus on, personally, on, showing around the route, while Matt, please shoot with questions, because people want to see what on the screen as well.
Yeah. Oh, so this is the second route, and we're back in Switzerland again. So what made you pick the Surselva line?
So I guess, again, kind of harking back to what we were talking about before, with Switzerland just being such a beautiful country and it being famous for its railway worldwide, the sun and scenery it makes it like a total pleasure to recreate in this game. And I think probably the most famous part of it is the part we're looking at right now, which is the Rhine Gorge and the limestone rock. So I think there's lots of different aspects to why we chose this route, but I think the main one's probably this gorge,
right?
Just its uniqueness.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, we're about to stop actually at our very first station, Valendas Sagoln platform 2. I was actually had a question about this platform. As you can see, we're gonna stop, but to me, at least, it appears that we're stopping in the middle of track without any platform on the sides. I'm wondering why is it?
Yeah, a lot of the time in these stations, they're just so old. I think that the platforms aren't, fully platformed. I think, in the past it's just been, you cross between tracks and you get on the train. So.
Yeah, this is where we are. Let me fly around a little bit while we're waiting for our passengers. So there are 13 stations, beautifully created on this route. Great detail. If you go to Rivet Games Twitter account, you might see the comparison shots they've made between the real how these stations, some buildings look in real life, and how they recreated them in game. Very good detail, very excellent detail, I would even say. So make sure you go ahead. I think we even retweeted a couple of them, so there's a lot to see. So we're done with our first station. We're gonna go on. What's next? What's next do we have? What's new in Surselva Line?
Yeah, what's new in Surselva Line in terms of types of assets or functionality or anything like that? What?
So I guess one of the biggest features is the new Hinterhain bridges just as you leave Reichenautamine station. So that was finished, I think, last year. To increase capacity in and out of the station, so that's in this route, and it's quite a prominent feature at the station.
We're gonna drive past it, I think, on this scenario as well, so everyone should be able to see it.
That's very cool. Is this some kind of a thing to stop the rocks falling on top of you or something?
Yeah, I think the rocks and potentially snow sometimes as well. Yeah.
That's cool. So I've got a note here that we've got passenger request stop functionality. Tell us about that.
Sorry, what was that?
Passenger request stop functionality.
Oh, sorry. I have to say this isn't my area of expertise, but from what I can gather, the coding team worked with the scenario creators to implement this. So the triggers are actually set up specifically in scenarios to react with the train as they're coming into stations. So. I think it's changed slightly. I think from when Alan implemented it originally, they've sort of edited it a bit. So I think that's a sort of slightly new feature. Yeah,
because I remember that when I initially saw the notes, I thought, that's new. But then I remembered we used this on one of the, I think, Bulding line or so.
I remember it being on one of the earlier lines.
It was one of Alan's previous routes.
So another landmark. This is where I think Rhine starts, or something like that. I'll close the window, but you could pause and have a look if you want later. So that's the system were implemented previously, because I remember when I just started working here in January, I think that was one of the first streams that I've ever had to do, and I had to learn all these systems. I had no idea what I was doing, and it was a bit tricky at the beginning, but then it got a little bit easier, so I figured it out. If they're improved, then it's even better.
It's like another element of gameplay, I guess.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Something we do not see very often in train sim world, or maybe we should see very soon.
So out of the 13 stations on the route, which one's your favourite, Laura?
So actually, it's the next one that we're coming up to. It's for Sam Safian. Quite a lot of the station buildings on this route look quite similar. They have that kind of wooden appearance that you saw in the previous station there in Philendis. Whereas the one we're coming up to for Sam Safian is quite unique. It's painted white, and the station model's been done really well, and the surrounding buildings have all been modelled to accurately represent the area. And I just really like the setting and the gorge with the river, and for me, that's my favourite wee spot on the route. It's not a big station or anything, but it's my favourite.
Yeah.
So did you or the team go out and do research on this line then?
So yeah, Alan and Matt, who you had on the previous Twitch stream with yourselves, they went out to survey this route this time. So, yeah.
Was it a long time ago? Because from what I understood, it was actually same time that it got a ban.
Yeah, it was actually while we were in production for Gotthard Band. So yeah, it was getting the surveys in earlier, so that we're kind of ready to go with the next project.
Yeah, so this was the first signal we had to react to. Yeah, we're gonna slow down a little bit until the desired speed is reached. It's very cool. It's beautiful. Yeah, if you guys on the stream have any questions,
I keep looking over to have a look and see what people are saying. If you've got questions, fire them over.
Yeah, because we've got quite a lot of people watching right now, actually, a little bit more than I expected. So you guys need to definitely ask some questions. We don't get guests like that very often. So make sure you do ask something.
Absolutely, it's a good opportunity to get your questions answered, folks.
If I can.
The route, if you're planning to purchase the route, we obviously quite recommend. Otherwise, we wouldn't be sitting here and showing it to you. Yeah. So next station, Vesam Safian.
It's just coming round the corner. Yeah.
I imagine those rocks are really imposing in real life.
Yeah, like when you have a look in Google Earth, it's something else. It's just incredible. But it's the artists have really accurately represented the area. I think the route building team and the art team, there's a lot of back and forth to try and get the style and the colour palette and everything just right for the game, because sometimes the way things look in reality doesn't always accurately carry over to a games engine, so you have to have that bit of back and forth to try and get it right, and I think they've done a really good job with it.
So I had a question from the viewers, not specifically about this, but was talked about in the last stream. Do you know whether Trainworks are still doing a loco pack?
Oh, sorry, no.
I've not heard anything about that myself either. I guess if that's happening, then stay tuned for news on that sort of thing, Rob.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So
RJC, are there any special tools created that are not part of the standard Train Simulator route building tools? No, it's the standards. The tools you get access to when you've got the game are the same with the tools that Rivet and ourselves are using to make routes like these. It's the tools do a good job. Obviously, there's additional tools like 3D Studio or things like that used for 3D modelling that are not part of the standard set, but all the train-related tools are all part of the standard set. So, Laura, what sort of challenges do you face in research and development compared to, say, Gotthard Barn? Was there any particular standout moments on this one?
So I think, as always, when you're making routes in Switzerland, the terrain is one of the biggest challenges to try and overcome. It's obviously very, very mountainous and very steep gradient changes and things like that. So trying to recreate that in the engine with assets and everything is always a bit of a challenge. Much more challenging than, say, a lot of the previous routes that we've worked on, like, say, German routes or British routes, which a lot of the terrain is relatively flat, so it's quite easy to work with. But it's when you see it coming together at the end, it's so rewarding, because it's absolutely stunning, the scenery.
I actually have one question. Were you going to ask?
Oh, we've just got something from the viewers. Big Dog's asking what rolling stock comes with the route. Am I right in thinking from what I'm seeing here that the rolling stock is everything that's in the enhancement pack 02?
Enhancement pack 02, yeah.
Yeah, so the route itself doesn't come with rolling stock, is that correct?
No. Can you confirm, Laura, for us?
Yeah, that's right. So we took the decision on this route that because the G442 came, it already ran on the line, that we would focus our attention and our resources towards just getting the route to finish to a really good quality. So that was the decision that we took for this route.
There you go.
Thank you very much. And if you do not have if you do have the RHB Enhancement Pack 02, you can get the route tomorrow for 18 and something pounds in the UK, which is a little bit lower than the regular price of routes. And if you buy a bundle, it's 73 pounds.
Yeah, so that answers your question as well, Chanel. So there's a bundle if you don't have them, and there's a cheaper price if you do have the enhancement pack. So yeah, that's that. Let's Train Omsi says, why stop at Regional Tamins rather than going to Chur?
I think, in terms of getting a route out in a sort of reasonable amount of time to a high quality standard, again, that's just a decision that we would take. It's really good to hear actually, from the community, they would like the lines to be extended from X to X. So I think continue to feed that into us, and we'll definitely take that into consideration for potential future projects.
Absolutely, it's always a big challenge trying to marry up what you'd like to make in terms of a route versus what can practically be made in terms 100%, of a route, and getting it to a sufficient. I mean, the kind of quality that you're seeing on this route doesn't just appear. This is an awful lot of hard work by really skilled people, and if you were to stretch that over a much longer distance, you dilute that quality across that period. And
very much so.
It's a difficult part of designing and making routes. So
yeah, absolutely. Actually, before you go on with the questions from the paper, I actually wanted to ask one thing. Laura, we've released TS20 not long ago, and it featured various visual enhancements. I'm just generally curious. Obviously they're not extremely significant, but did it really help you, at least to some extent, maybe, or maybe it was just visually you could see the route from a different perspective? Because we're running currently with quite a few different settings. I think I've got a nice field of view setup, some contrast settings, so I've changed quite a lot compared to how it looks originally. We are in the settings. So I'm just curious, what's your opinion on the things that were included there in the TS20?
We're working in an earlier version, I think, at the beginning of the development of this. So looking at this just now is probably the first time I would have seen it.
Really?
With the enhancements.
Sure.
Yeah. So but yeah, I think going forward that's obviously something that we'll be looking into as well, because you can see
I mean, of course it's not extraordinary, but it does make a little bit of a difference. I need to slow it down. In the settings, I think I've been absolutely amazed by the captures that people have been doing recently. If you see all the TS20 screenshot contest winners, they're absolutely excellent. There's a very new, something completely new. I'm really happy about how it went how it went down with the community. So we're about to approach our next station, which one is Trin platform. Yeah.
That's very good. Thelonious was asking, will Rivet Games eventually produce work for Train Sim World?
We're focusing our attention on Train Simulator at the moment, but never say never, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, guys, keep shooting questions at us.
Big Dog's asking, the screenshots for the route featured some container wagons that are not part of Thomson Interactive packages.
Because some wagons are new. Some wagons are new, aren't they?
For this route.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there are. I'm not 100% on this because, again, trains isn't my department, so I would probably need to refer to someone else on that. But yeah, I think there are new wagons.
Yeah, I feel like there are new wagons because I think I was looking at something to relate
Okay,
to
so there is
yeah.
some included, some new stock included in the route, but it's rolling stock rather than locomotives. I think those are
Yeah.
the container wagons on the left there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, sorry guys, I'm a bit of a mistake from my end. I didn't really tell you exactly what comes with the route. So yeah, there's new wagons coming, new rolling stock. So to add to your experience. Yeah, so we're stopping here again. I think we've got one more station left on this particular scenario. Next thing we would like to ask, I think it's mentioned there, but let's go back to Goderbahn for a second, and let's remember that it was received extremely well, which is great. It was received brilliantly, but there was a bit of a small problem with sounds that people have been reporting days after release. So I would like to ask you: has anything from Goderbahn taught you when it came to working on Surselva? Because I know that you went back to Goderbahn and provided a patch for all of this, and a couple of more other things. So I would like to know: has this experience with Goderbahn, has it taught you something new that you probably weren't expecting when you were working on your first route?
Yeah, I would say like from a production point of view, the order of things, getting the order of what we do in the right sort of way, so that each department has what it needs at the right time. That would sort of help massively. So I think that's something that we'll implement going forward. I think the horn, the sounds for the horn was updated as far as I'm aware. That was one change that was made to sounds, and then there was a few sort of wee odds and ends that I think were just tied up. Nothing that obviously would have prevented the route from going out in the first place, but just to sort of help tidy things up and listen to the feedback that we got from the community. So I'm hoping that was well received.
Yeah, I mean, we're reading the chat right now. People are are definitely grateful for the fact that you came back very, very quickly, and yeah, it's just great. Thank you very much for that. We and the players absolutely appreciate everything.
Yeah, and like I say, it's really, really good to hear from the community as much as possible. Like, so any sort of feedback or anything, we're very, very receptive to.
Yeah, make sure you go and look up Rivet on their social media and
Yeah, give them a follow.
follow.
Follow them on Twitter and YouTube for sure. They're active, especially on YouTube. If you want to see all these brand new devlogs and educate yourself a little bit on how routes are built in this game, then you should definitely give them a follow. And I think they already have 7 or 8 videos from both Godoban and yesterday's video about the Surselva Line. I know there's one more should be coming in the next couple of days, and there'll be one more after that. So there's plenty to see. So make sure you follow them and give them your appreciation, I suppose. Any questions that came up from the chat?
Let's Synopsy saying the water there is more turquoise than currently. Does the water change colour with season?
So we did actually kind of look into this because we were kind of very aware of that, but the way that the water works in the engine, it reflects from the sky. So if you change the actual color texture in the water, it just looks really, really strange. So I think it's the sort of compromise again, like with how things look in the real world and how good they look in a games engine. You kind of have to work with how it looks in the games engine sometimes.
Absolutely, yeah. It's trying to find again. It's all about compromise, isn't it?
Compromise, yeah.
Make it look as close as you can, but within the confines of the game.
Yeah, definitely. And to make it look good as well, absolutely.
That's got to be the highest priority, isn't it? When you're sitting there and you're looking out this window, what you want is to see something amazing out the window.
Absolutely, yeah.
Chanel's sorry for the catch previously. Is there freight as well? Yes, there's freight as well. There was a freight train went past us right at the very beginning of the scenario.
Yeah, that's right.
Are there freight scenarios as well? Do you know?
Oh, sorry, is that what you're asking? Yeah, there are freight scenarios in this. Yeah, there are.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah, speaking of scenarios, there are 9 of them, if I'm not mistaken, and there are freight included as well. So there's plenty of gameplay for whatever you want to do, really. Plenty of gameplay, absolutely. Yeah, actually, good question. I think we're gonna go on the list again. But the next question I wanted to ask: How long did the development take this time? Because I remember from Godaban stream, development didn't take you all that long. I mean, it didn't take a year because you've had so many assets that you could use from previous Alan Thompson's routes. So I'm really interested to know. It's been only 2 months since the release of Gotthardbahn. How did you manage to pull it off so quickly?
So again, I think I'll hark back to what I was saying before about being organised and each department kind of doing its part at the right time, so that the next department has what they need at the right time, so we can move artists off of the previous route that we've been working on onto the new route before that route has finished, because they've wrapped up what they've needed to do, and it's just the tail end of route building and various other bits and bobs at the end that need to be tied up. So it's trying to maximise the time of the people that you have. So probably all in for Surselva, with various departments coming on and off at different times. The production of this route maybe took about 4 months in total. But not everybody from every department would be working on it simultaneously. There would be people moving about from one thing to another thing. So
yeah, that's really interesting. What was your favourite bit to actually the most enjoyable part of developing the Surselva line?
For me, I really, really enjoy it all coming together at the end, because in games development, you'll know this yourself, sometimes during the early and middle stages it's quite hard to see where you're making progress and how things are going, but once you get towards the end and the finishing touches are going on, you can really take a step back and see what you've achieved, and you get a real kick out of it.
Yeah, totally. It's very. Once it all starts coming together and it's not a barren green wasteland anymore.
Exactly.
It starts looking like a finished product, and then you can start seeing, well, if we tweak these things, we can make it even better.
Exactly. You can sort of bigger picture, get things working together. Color palette, you can make those tweaks and really get it, looking like one big piece rather than lots of little pieces that have been put together.
Totally.
So this is the Hinterrhein, the new bridge.
The new bridges, yeah.
So it was opened on the 4th of November 2018, so it's brand new pretty much.
Yeah.
Costs 32.5 million Swiss francs, 200 meters long. Yeah, so let's have a closer look at it, I suppose. This is
It's the other side, I guess. It's the other side, I guess. It's on with the V supports, is it?
What do you mean the other side?
Oh,
this side, yeah, of course, yeah. Oh, train has passed, it's gonna stop.
There you go, Schnauzer Powers, a freight wagon just for you.
That was pretty embarrassing.
That
was pretty embarrassing from my side.
That's fine. We're used to it.
I was used to it, yeah.
It's live. These things happen.
So give a little bit more speed as we're approaching. We're gonna have another scenario. Probably not gonna play the whole thing because it's about 14 minutes.
So where are we now? Are we on the one end of the route at this point?
So we're at Reichenautamine station now. So we're coming into the. I'm trying to think in my head, like what, northeast, southwest. So it's the east end of it. Sorry, we're coming into it at the moment. Yeah. Just try and get my bearings.
That's fine. I'm gonna open the map as soon as I stop, and we're gonna have a quick look at that just in case.
Really interesting variety on the freight.
Oh, Mister. They're standing in dangerous positions over here. Right, so we're almost there. 2, 1, it's open.
Total route length is, did you say 70 kilometres earlier, Laura?
Yeah, I think give or take. Hang on a wee second and I will. Yeah, maybe like 60, 50, 60, yeah.
Something along that.
Yeah.
So
when am I going to buy Dimitri pink headphones?
When? It's a good
when
question.
he buys me new headphones, because there's new ones I want.
Well done, driver. That was a successful journey 3 times.
It was 3 times. It was that good. See? Confidence.
Alright, let's jump to the next scenario here. I didn't do too bad, thank you.
That was awesome.
Yeah, but that's a legit question, Matt. When are you going to buy me new pink headphones? I mean, Christmas time is
We shall see.
approaching.
Oh my word, Christmas time's already. Don't say that.
Yeah, that's scary.
How's it scary? It's great.
It
So,
is great, to be fair.
Tavasa Sunday Shuttle, 14 minutes. I think this one, if I'm not... this is winter. So it's
Yeah.
going to be a little bit different landscape from
Yeah.
what we've seen previously. Right, let's have a look at the chat while we're waiting for the...
Niels, are you getting a local setting for units in TSW? That's on the list of things to be done at some point, but I don't have any update on that one yet. Don't forget, fire your questions, folks. And Maxim says, wondering why there are no kilometre posts or slope indicator signs. Is that something that's you're aware of on the route?
I thought I'll need to check on that one. I thought there was kilometre posts on it. That's another department that work on that. So again, that unfortunately, I'm kind of within my own purview. I don't want to start answering questions for other departments. But yeah, I thought there was.
We'll make a note of that question and get an answer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, this here we are starting at
on the western end now.
At the complete western end of the map.
Whenever I look at the map plans for these the Swiss railways, they always look like shelf model railways because they're sort of long and thin. And particularly you look at this station, it wouldn't require much depth but it's got a long width to it, which is always interesting.
I love this station.
Some of the other stations that other parts of Europe tend to be a lot more sprawling. It's beautiful, isn't it? I really
beautiful.
Like
Look at
very
the light.
different.
I like the lighting and everything. It's absolutely stunning.
Really nice job.
Big Dog's asked for a quick fly around of Decentis.
Yeah, there's a lot of landmarks that I'm not gonna go through simply because I can't pronounce them. But there's landmarks on pretty much each station, guys. There was this church. I don't think if we're gonna see it, but it's a Baroque style church from a while ago, and it's there. It's recreated. It's not this one, is it? No, it's not. Yeah, as you can see, guys, there's an incredible amount of detail here, which we all love.
Yeah, it looks so nice in the snow.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Did they want to see anything particular while flying around? No? Or just generally?
No, people haven't asked for anything else yet other than the fly around of Decentis.
Right.
We're off.
Yeah, I think this scenario, we're going. I can't remember the destination, but I remember that as soon as we hit the destination, we have to go back, which is cool because I can use different modes of driving here. So I usually use the normal one for driving downhill, but on the way back, cruise control will actually be very useful.
William, how much will this cost? This is launching tomorrow. 2 p.m. And it will launch. If you already own the enhancement pack, it's £18.74. If you don't own the enhancement pack, this is the RHB enhancement pack 02. If you do own it, it's £18.74 on its own. If you don't own it, there's a bundle deal where the whole thing is £27.73. So that's a decent, good discount on both the route and the and the pack together. The route on its own normal price will be at £24.99. But those are the launch prices. So £18.74 if you already own the enhancement pack, which is where a lot of the locos and so forth coming from, and the £27.73 if you don't own it and you want to buy the two together.
Sure. Yeah, so we are moving successfully. I guess we're gonna move on to the remaining of our questions. I think there was not that many. I would say we'll focus on Rivet Games first, and then we'll move on to the very last question. That is interesting.
So, how are things going for Rivet since the last stream? How is the organisation developing? Have you got lots of new faces?
Yeah, things are going well. It's obviously very hard work but it's really worth it, I think, to see all the positive responses from the community and see the work finished. There are a few new faces since the last time we were on the stream with you. So we've hired another 3D artist, we've hired a coder, and we've also hired a track layer. So we're ramping things up a bit.
That's really cool. And how is Alan Thompson doing? We haven't spoken to him on the stream, I don't think, for a while. It's keen to know how the man himself is doing.
Yeah, he's doing really well. He's taken a very well-earned holiday this week after getting the route over the finishing line. So I'm not sure if he's away anywhere this year. I know he was away in Germany earlier on this year. So he might just be pottering about at home this week and taking it easy.
As you say, well deserved too.
Very much so, yeah.
That's very cool. And I guess the next question is, what clues and hints can you give us about what's coming next?
I'm afraid I can't give away any clues or hints as to what's coming next, but I would like to say again that we're always interested to hear from the community, and anything that they think would be really interesting for us to make. We're always welcome to suggestions, so keep them coming in.
Yeah, do send in your suggestions, folks. There's lots more really nice areas of routes just in this area that can be explored.
A lot.
Which ones do you want to see?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, Thelonious says, finally Matt gets to turn the tables on the future content question. And I got the same answer, to be fair. So.
Hope you like it, Matt, when you get that kind of answers.
Oh, it's terrible. I feel so bad.
Yeah, so have you... I mean... You've possibly, of course, you considered other countries, but you personally, Laura, what would you like to see next? As a, no obligations. If you were to create a route in 1 second, completely tomorrow, what would you do?
Ooh, that's a difficult one. To be honest, I actually always really enjoyed working on the routes in Germany when I worked with Dovetail Games. So. That was always a firm favourite of mine, so I probably would quite like to go back to Germany. But in terms of new territory, Australia seems like quite an interesting place. Probably be quite different to anything that we've sort of looked at in the past. So
yeah, some really interesting railways and some amazing scenery, or complete lack of scenery, depending on which ones you go for.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And what's your favourite route right now in TS?
I think this one actually is my favourite one so far.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's not only because you're working on it, but I guess just the whole how it looks, I guess.
Yeah, I think just again the Swiss railways are just so beautiful and so unique. Like there's just nothing really else in the world like it. So
absolutely.
Yeah, when you've worked on a product for so long and you see it coming together at the end, it's just really satisfying. So.
Yep. And it's also not only geographically a unique place, but it's also a very unique mix of cultures that exists there, and existed there for hundreds of years.
Absolutely, yeah, that's another really interesting.
Because before this route, I actually didn't know that such language existed. I think Romansh, is that what they call it? I didn't even know that it exists. Am I pronouncing it correctly at least? Is it Romansh?
Oh.
So yeah, it's mentioned in the.
It's on one of those pop-ups, isn't it?
Yeah.
One of those pop-ups.
My pronunciation is not the best.
I looked into it. This language has its roots in Latin, but there's only a few words left from Latin actually in there. It's mostly influenced by German. And I'm talking about it is because I think most of the stations on this route are called in this language.
Route's definitely taken a bit of a different turn on this side of it. It's a lot more, broken up rocks and feeling like you're riding on that shelf along the side of the mountain. Yeah,
very much so. It's like really winding along the edge of the mountainside. Lots of viaduct bridges and embankment walls and everything. It's almost like it's just kind of really held together on the side of the mountain. It's very, very different from the other end with the gorge and the rocks, and it's a very, very different feel and look to it. It's almost like two separate routes sometimes, like when you think about it.
Yeah, which makes the journey interesting as you hit that transition.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lele Leandro, will the route be available for purchase on Steam? Yes, tomorrow, hopefully around 2 p.m.
Yep.
Several people agreeing with the need for Australian railways.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
We've got quite a way to go actually until our destination, but we're gonna go there. Definitely gonna see that station as well.
2 p.m. as in just after lunchtime, RJC, UK time.
Yeah, UK time.
Yeah, this is a top and tail, I think, isn't it? Can we have a look externally? Is this a top and tail service?
What do you want?
Press 3. Yeah, so this is a top and tail. You've got a loco at both ends because it's a shuttle. So rather than going through the mess of trying to run trains around, they just put a loco on either end. Other railways might put cab cars on the end and things like that, but
Yeah.
they all run multiple units. Whereas here they just put a loco on either end because it's just as easy for them.
Yeah.
So Laura, I think we asked on the previous stream, but what did you get? How did you do research for your routes? I know that there's a lot comes from Alan.
Yeah, so
And trips.
yeah, survey trips are really important because actually, in fairness, in the Swiss railways, we now have Google Train View for a lot of the RHB lines. So you can jump down onto the track and you can kind of get a 360 view of where you are at any point. Whereas with every other route that we've worked on in the past, you're kind of limited to Street View. So in terms of research for this route, that makes things far easier than it would ever be before. But I still think the survey trips are invaluable in terms of getting an actual feel for how the place is in reality. You can jump into Google Earth, but it's never the same as actually being in the place, and that's the kind of the feel that you want to put into the route that you're creating. That's the kind of important part of it, I think.
Yeah, you get a real sensation for what's in the area, and you'll notice things wandering around that you just wouldn't notice. You'll notice different things with a bird's eye view from Google Earth, but as you say, you can't beat being there.
No, you just can't. No, I think it'd be very difficult to create a route or recreate an area without having gone there, or someone working on the project having gone there and really feeding into that. So
you definitely need to make them take you next time.
Yeah.
It's unfair otherwise.
Yeah, well, I'll get a turn.
Yeah, and this system you mentioned with Google, not Street View, not
Train View.
Train View, yeah.
It's the same idea.
Okay. And could you just quickly talk about how this process works? Because you talk about it in your dev blog, and there's at least some visuals people can see. But what does that entail for the people who don't know at all how routes are built?
Yeah, so we kind of start the track is in, we get height data in, which gives us a really good jumping off point for beginning route building, but we really have to get into the detail of it and make sure that the terrain is exactly where it's supposed to be. So it's a lot of working with survey photographs and working with Google Earth and trying to make sure that we sculpt the terrain to be exactly how it is. We want to get the roads in, we want to get the catenary all in first of all, so that the other departments, when signalling starts to happen, the catenary's in and the signals can go exactly where they're supposed to go. The roads are in, so when 3D artists are ready to start modelling, they can rip out, extract the geometry of the roads and model around the track, model around the roads. It makes their jobs a lot easier, and then once we've finished that pass, that's when we sort of go back and do our final pass of high detail scenery, get everything kind of looking exactly like it is in real life.
Yeah, it's great. I'm assuming Matt could tell it's a similar process in CSW as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the fundamentals of the process are the same. It's a good process that works, and it's just a slightly different set of tools quite a significantly different set of tools.
Yeah.
But fundamentally you're using the same resources to do the same job.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
I'm curious, was it the same? I'm curious what the process would be back in 2001 during the times of Microsoft Train Simulator.
That was very different. I don't know whether you could import dem data. You certainly didn't have any kind of Google Earth. You barely had latitude and longitude. And a lot of it was done by, I think someone did something you could import terrain textures, so you could turn a map into terrain textures, import that, and then draw the track over the top of that.
Yeah, I actually remember doing that in the very early days as well, Matt. Yeah.
It's there's all sorts of clever ways that the community found of doing these things.
Yeah.
I think you could also import flags, the same as TS1 could do it. MSTS could import flags as well, so that you could pin the flags down along the line of route and then effectively draw the track following the flags.
Yeah, yeah.
And then once you've got the track down, it's obviously a little bit easier to relate to what's going on. Normally you get your track down and your roads down, and that normally gives you enough to then pin the scenery around it.
Absolutely, yeah. Everything kind of hinges on the track and the road, so if you've got that down, then everything else kind of falls into place.
Yeah. Luca has the. Is it possible to create other scenarios yourself? Yes, TS1's got. TS20 has got full set of content creation tools pretty much built in. So at any point you can press Control E and jump into the editor, or from the main menu there's the build screen where you can create your own scenarios. You can do anything you like really. It's also a great way because there's other packs that Rivet now and Thompson have done, which have got stock which are perfectly suitable for this route. So you can, if you're making your own scenarios, you can start using other stock on those as well, and broadening the experience out even more.
Yeah, Laura, who's next coming to the stream from Rivet Games?
So I guess I'm going to turn that around on you guys again. Who would you like to hear from, or like what department would you like to hear from? Would the community like to hear from? So.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, there's going to be we don't really know who do you have in there, but I think what do you think might would be interesting. We had vehicle designer last time. We have building manager today. Yep. Who's next?
Gameplay, technical. There's a number of different other disciplines. Folks who are watching, what questions do you want answering? I don't necessarily need the questions right now because we haven't got the person to answer them.
Yeah.
But what questions do you want answering, and who would you like us to get on the stream from Rivet Games next time? Answers on a postcard or a tweet or something, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Fire them across.
And we can we'll try and get someone on the stream to answer a different set of questions for you and another perspective. But I think as Dimitri said, with Laura and Matt, that covers kind of route creation and loco creation. So there's other disciplines, signalling, track, the gameplay side of it, so creating scenarios. There's all sorts of stuff that you can ask about.
Yeah, definitely.
Speeding.
I'm suddenly feeling unsafe sitting next to Dimitri. He's apparently a
that's
wild
okay,
man.
man. I think for the next stream we're gonna flip the tables a little bit, and you'll be driving and reading questions, and I'll be doing nothing.
But that's what I
like
do.
A fair deal.
No, it's great. Thank you very much, Laura, for coming. We're gonna finish this. We're gonna drive to our destination, and we're probably gonna stop there. But it was a great experience having you here. I personally think there's a million more questions I could have asked, or at least a million more answers you have in your head that we could have asked questions for. But we only have so much time in here, and obviously there are things that we just can't prepare for. But we're very happy for having you here. It's great. And guys, it's coming out tomorrow, as we mentioned. Those who've just joined, 2 p.m. UK time. Obviously, it's going to be announced on Steam and social media platforms, so you will know. Also to add, we already said 3 times or so what the pricing will be, but just to recap, the route will be available for For the current owners of RHB Enhancement Pack 02, the route will cost £18.74, so £18.74. For if you want to buy a bundle with the enhancement pack and the route, you can buy it for £27.73. What else? Included in the with this route are new wagons, so some new rolling stock, which we were reminded of kindly by our viewers during the stream, and there's no traction, no locos, I mean, and so this uses locos present in the RHB enhancement pack, and I'm speeding again.
Dear oh dear.
Well, that's okay.
I'm just going to hold on to something so I don't fall out.
Well, it's going very fast, isn't it? It's
80
dangerous.
kilometers an hour.
It's fast.
It's moving along.
Well, thank you very much for having me on as well.
Yeah, the sort of it's great to have someone different finally. It's all the same.
Did you take another dig at me?
You're like an old married couple.
Who are you calling old?
Yeah, we get married in the streaming room. Yeah. Yeah. What else? Look, Matt.
We've run out of questions.
there
You
anything
didn't come
else?
up with enough
Because
questions.
you read them too fast.
Oh, I didn't.
You did.
I didn't.
You did.
Oh dear, oh dear. What I don't know if you know what other locos that are that have been made available that we know would be especially good fit for the route, other obviously than the one that's featured in the scenario here, from say some of the other enhancement packs.
Again, that's definitely not my area of expertise, so I wouldn't like to start talking about something that I'm not 100% on. But yeah, like the G442 is the one that's obviously included in this route. So,
Yeah.
and then I mean, I guess if people have trains, they could run on the route that they have.
Yeah, I mean, as I said earlier, the tools are there for people to make stuff, and obviously
Yeah,
it's all going
yeah.
to be fully compatible with Steam Workshop, so you can.
Yeah.
It'll be really interesting to see the scenarios that everybody creates
Yeah.
as the route comes out, which would be really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
I need to slow down a little bit. We're going a little bit too fast, but looks like we are going to slow down quite comfortably.
Yeah, we're coming up towards the station now. That's the big reservoir there.
Yeah. On the right, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yes.
There's a lot to see here. Oh my god, there's a lot to see. So can we expect Matt to use streaming Surselva Line on Friday night?
When I have a PC that works.
You still don't have a PC?
No,
Wow.
no, it's out for repairs. So I'm at the moment I'm limited to what a PlayStation can do, which is cool, but it's still not. It means I can't play TS20.
So, how do you live?
How do I live?
Yeah.
Well, I find myself watching lots of television and
Oh my god.
crying quietly in the corner.
That's fair enough. Yeah, we're approaching the station. At least my driving wasn't as horrible, but everyone watching, I really hope that we gave you some glimpse of what this route is. Whole hour we've driven from roughly the center to the eastern end, and from west to roughly center. So we've shown quite a bit. There's a lot to see here. As many people of you mentioned in the comments, the scenery is great. It's just fantastic, and knowing the feedback Rivet Games have received from Godadban, I think you can expect excellent quality here, and definitely you can expect great value for your money. So wait until tomorrow, guys, and yeah, pick it up if you want to, especially considering that it's on a great offer with a bundle.
I love that horn.
Yeah, but it's too loud.
Slash whistle.
It's too loud.
Slash person screaming on the front of the train. It's kind of the anthem for when I'm driving the train. It's usually someone screaming. There we go.
Yeah,
You notice
so-
also as we get to this station that we're now in the valley as well. So the sort of the tone of the route has changed.
Yes, let's
From
have
where
a
we started.
final look. Let's have a final look at this stunning valley. Look at that. Oh, I love the scenery here. Absolutely stunning. And the reservoir and the sky, everything's just beautiful. Alright guys, hope you guys enjoyed. It was a relatively short stream, shorter than usual, but I think we've provided some really nice and condensed information for you. Laura, again, just thank you so much for coming in and having that bravery to come to the stream, because we know, you know, we're kind of old dogs in this
Is that
thing.
word old again?
Alright, on the
It's
mat.
been a pleasure. Thank you very much for
Yes,
having
thank you, Laura.
Thank you very much, Laura, and yeah, good night, and we're looking forward to the release of the stream tomorrow. And guys, everyone, thank you for coming. Thank you for watching, and we'll be with you soon. Basically, nothing else to say, and have a great end of Wednesday.
Excellent. Cheers,
Right.
everyone. Bye bye.
Cheers, guys.
Bye, Laura.
Bye.